Who does OnlyFans exploit more, men or women, and why?
Exploits women more, definitely, and they make more money doing it. That's why.
Yeah, I would say that it does exploit women more because these women are young, dumb, and naive. They don't really know what they're, I guess, getting into, and it pokes at their need for attention and the allure, the fast cash. It's there, yeah. But I would say both parties are doing it with free will. So there isn't any exploitation in my eyes. It's more about adults making choices, and you got to live with your choices. It's accountability.
Why?
How could it exploit women if they're being rewarded for it and they're choosing to do it?
I think society tells them that they'll make money off of it. Therefore, it's an easier choice for them.
Women sign up for it like willingly, wanting to be a part of it, and then there's I think like 8 million men subscribed.
Yeah, but these men sign up willingly too. So, and they're paying for a service. Nobody has a gun to their head, so no.
So I think it's definitely exploiting men. However, the narrative is definitely exploiting women.
I guess men. Why? Because men are lonely, I think.
It's not about loneliness, more about horniness, if anything.
I think men are lonely and they'll pay for just about anything.
So why is there so much talk about the exploitation of women, but we never talk about this exploitation of men?
Because the men built the system, so they want to be exploited.
Bruh.
Why would anybody want to be exploited? Doesn't make any sense. Like, for instance, what about the 18-year-old that was born just 18 years ago? Did he build the system? Does he want to be exploited? Of course not.
Would OnlyFans be successful if it wasn't fulfilling a need that men are being deprived?
No, it would not be successful.
I think it would still be successful.
Yeah, I think it would still be successful because there's a lot of horny men. Some men are horny more than others, and they choose to pay for sex. Some of these guys that pay for sex currently, they have wives at home or a girlfriend, but they need more. So yeah.
Men are just greedy. They're visual creatures.
Why do you think there's so much talk about the exploitation of women, but we never talk about the exploitation of men?
I think because when women are exploited, I want to say it's usually without their consent, but I think it's complicated.
I think it's the fact that men are known to be more accountable and are less susceptible to being tricked. So exploitation is just not something that we want to carry around.
I think it's complicated.
Do you believe that sex is a need or a want?
Definitely a need.
It's a need for men and it's a want for women. They don't have a high sex drive like men. So yeah.
A want.
Is it more of a need or a want for men or for women, and why?
I feel like for men, personally, me, I went quite a long time without it. I don't myself always enjoy it. So yeah.
Men are wired to want to spread the seed, and I think men's brains are wired in a way where instinctually you desire it more, and for women, you can only get pregnant for 9 months at a time, right? So you don't desire sex maybe as much as men do.
It's more of a need for men, more of a want for women. Women are very selective with who they want to have sex with, and men are, whoever it is goes.
If women didn't believe that sex was a need for men, why would so many women choose careers that rely on male lust?
I think women do think it's a need for men, and I think they rely on it because they can make a lot of money, because men are always going to need it.
They know our nature, but a lot of times they want to play like we're the same or we're equal, but they know our nature. But a lot of women, they don't live in the truth. They want to live in a false reality, right? So
I think women do think it's a need for men, and I think they rely on it because they can make a lot of money, because men are always going to need it.
Well, I know for me, I'm an exotic dancer. I've been a dancer since I'm 19 years old. I'm from Toronto, but the money, it's very lucrative.
if we're gonna be exploited either way, because women are exploited either way, might as well make some money.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Even if sex was just an urge, why are men pigs for wanting it when it's biology?
Because they don't care.
About what?
They don't care where they get it from.
I think it's just easy to shame men, really. Somebody, a man is horny, just point at him and be like, hey, that's that horny guy right there, right? It's just another way to control us.
Well, do you think that maybe men would care if they had more access to it? They would be more selective if they had more access to it.
No, because there's access everywhere. There's, I could say hookers, right?
You think it's easier for men to get sex?
Heck yeah.
Well, then why would men be?
See, well, she doesn't really understand men, right? She doesn't understand how hard it is to acquire sex, acquire women, It's not easy, It takes skill, charisma, either money, charm, good looks. And these are things that take a while for men to acquire. So, no, it's not easy.
Be so lonely, like you said.
Because men, they want to have the quote unquote perfect person, but if they can't get it, they are still going to get it somewhere else. They're just lonely and probably other fulfillments.
Are men more thirsty for sex, or are women more thirsty for attention?
God dang, I think the thirst for attention is everything. If I'm being totally honest.
I actually think it's equal. I don't like to use that word a lot, but in this case, it actually makes sense because their need for attention and our need for sex, we almost intertwine, and we have to meet in the middle for us to complete a task. We are designed this way to meet each other, essentially.
I know men are definitely horny creatures. I mean, let's be honest, that's just how the world works. But I think women are actually a little bit more hornier than men. And unfortunately, we live in a world where it makes it difficult for us to communicate that.
Women will never be as horny as men.
Are women more interested in teasing men or pleasing men?
I would say teasing, because you can get the attention fulfilled and you can get money out of it. The more you dangle the carrot in front of the person's head, the more you can get out of them.
Teasing men.
Why do you say?
I think the need for attention is higher than the need for sex.
Why are women typically spoiled beyond their needs while men are deprived of their basic needs?
Because in a marriage, men are willing to please the women for however long it takes, and they will spoil them to do that. But women will grow complacent from being spoiled. They will stop trying to please the men because they're already getting what they need.
If men aren't deprived, why do we use the word thirsty to describe men?
It's a shaming tactic to keep men in line.
I think we kind of are deprived. I think the entire society is actually depriving us. I think we're not, it's just not being told straight like that. Like, we're being denied relationships, families, it's all being lost. Yeah, we're being deprived.
Why are women more willing to admit that sex is a need for men than men will admit that sex is a need for men?
I think it's because women see it firsthand how much we do crave sex and want it from them. So they see it firsthand. But men, they don't want to admit it openly because they don't want to be looked upon like they don't get sex, They want to have this appearance that they have it all under control. So I guess more of an ego thing.
I think men just want to appear more evolved and more conscious, and like they have more of a choice, when really it is more of a animalistic behavior that they have not evolved from.
How are women literally bragging about their sexual power over men while men continue denying women sexual power over men?
The patriarchy.
Well, I don't brag, but I guess I would say because, like you said, men need, or it's a infatuation with sex. Men have an infatuation with sex. So it's like, I hold the power because I got the cookie.
I think because women understand that that's where their power lies with men. Like, as men, we're not going to expose any chinks in the armor. There's no reason to do that. But for women, they understand exactly that you need the sex. That's why they're able to exploit us to the degrees that they are.
Are men weak for using OnlyFans, or are women lazy for using OnlyFans?
I would say both. I don't see any reason why a sane, rational male with his life together would use OnlyFans. Doesn't make any sense. For one, you have Pornhub over there for free. So why are you going to OnlyFans? Can't you just get a girlfriend? Can't you just have a girlfriend and then watch your porn? It doesn't make any sense.
Either women are empowered, men are getting what they want and paying for it.
And also, the women are lazy for doing OnlyFans because there's so many other professions out there. What exactly are you doing OnlyFans for? You know, especially the ones that have like the college degrees, or they have already having a profession like a doctor, or she's a lawyer, or she's a police officer. Why the hell would you have a OnlyFans on the side? It doesn't make any sense. It's the need for attention is, I guess, very strong because you have your career, you have your money. So why would you do OnlyFans? Why would you switch to that? Either you're lazy or you love attention. I think it's a bit of both.
I would say men are weak for using OnlyFans, because if they didn't use OnlyFans, the woman wouldn't be quote unquote lazy. She would actually have to do something else.
People will just generally take the easy route, and because of that like inherent desire for sex and the fulfillment that guys get from that, it's so easy for girls to go and do OnlyFans because you get so much money from it and it's easy and whatever, because there's already an audience set to buy something like that.
Why were feminists of the past anti-sex work, but today they are pro-sex work? What changed?
In the past, it was a male-dominated field where men were forcing women into it, and now women are choosing to be in it, and that's when it became empowering of women.
Who's laughing now?
Who was forcing women to do sex work? Talking about like pimps? Because majority of women were not sex workers at any point. It was a sliver of the population. So who exactly was forcing women to have sex?
Does the fact that OnlyFans exists prove that women are okay being objectified as long as they're getting paid?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, social media has gave that platform the start that it needed. And now that they're in a situation where they can sit in the privacy of their own home and feel safe, they found an opportunity to monetize that.
That's why I laugh when some of these girls saying men sexualize us. It's like, you sexualize your own self. You guys do OnlyFans, you guys go on Instagram and show everything. It's like, it's laughable at this point.
Why is sexuality considered a human right for women and gays, but not for heterosexual men?
Honestly, I don't have the right answer for that, but I feel like it should be equal for everybody, no matter what.
Because the straight male is the enemy, is the target. He needs to be belittled and held down, because if the straight male knows his true power, then he changes the world.
Can you think of any sexual preference that's currently more shamed and profited off of than male heterosexuality?
For me, maybe it's because I'm in the industry, but I think it's females always.
Does the sexual liberation of women come at the expense of men's sexual liberation?
Absolutely not. You know what? I lied. It does. Because unfortunately, the female sexual liberation, it's a polar opposite. So whoever has the true liberation, the other one is at a disadvantage.
So can you think of any sexual preference that's currently more shamed and profited off of than male heterosexuality?
Ooh, sexual preference that's shamed more than male heterosexuality. No.
Aren't they banking off of men's sexual frustration and emotional loneliness?
Absolutely. That's half of the economy here.
So do you think that society is incentivized to keep men sexually frustrated and lonely because sex sells?
I believe so. I think when it benefits, like for instance, after World War II, they made sure every man could get a woman, and society progresses. If they wanted us to be in a better situation, I do believe we will be in that better situation.
Would you consider that to be sex bigotry?
It is. Absolutely.
So then how would masculinity or self-improvement fix this sex bigotry against men?
It's one of those things. It's almost like you have to kind of it's like same way feminism, they push that onto all of us without our permission. We're gonna have to assert ourselves without anyone's permission, and that's just reality.
Being masculine is almost a threat. or matter of fact, it is a threat. And so any way that they can tame that is just to their advantage.
Do we fight race bigotry by telling blacks to sculpt themselves to be better slaves?
Absolutely not, but in a way we do. And the reason why I say that is because slavery is so much more than the physical act of individuals being, indentured servitude. It's a situation where you can have slavery of the mind, of the spirit, of the emotional construct, and anything you can believe in.
Why is sex typically the first thing that's withheld when women don't get what they want?
Because that's the first.
Because that's how they control us, really. Because they know deep down, they've learned throughout the years of their lives that we want them for that. They sometimes they try to convince us that there's more to it, but no, we are here and we chase you for that sexual access.
First thing a man wants.
It's our greatest power, and we learned that through years of sexual oppression.
Isn't that the same thing as using sex as a weapon against men?
Yes.
Do you think it's true that men use power to get sex while women use sex to get power?
Yes.
So why do women often claim victimhood by the very thing they use to get power?
Manipulation.
Because sometimes they don't willingly give it up, and that's when it becomes victimhood.
Do you think it's true that men use power to get sex while women use sex to get
Yes.
power? If all the men in the world were gay, how would women get power?
I don't think women would gain power in that situation because there is no urge to give women that special privilege. There's no incentive for these gay men, but they would still need to reproduce to make either male or female. So there would have to be some kind of arrangement there.
What a fantastic question. I have no answer to.
They wouldn't need it because the gays love the women, and they would give us it on our own.
I don't think she's thought that through. The gays wouldn't just give you power because there would be no incentive to give you power. They would be in charge, They would be basically the patriarchy, the new patriarchy in that world, And women would fall in line to being the oppressed once again,
Since men aren't all gay, where do women actually get their power from?
Living their lives, doing what they want, and pleasing themselves before others.
It's an illusion, man.
Can we agree that women get their power by manipulating straight men?
Sometimes.
Come on, man. Just say it.
Some women.
I mean, not really, honestly. I'm pretty direct about anything that I do. So, I guess it depends on your hustle, really.
Why do women pride themselves on manipulation as a skill when they already control what men want?
They don't control what men want. Men want money, men want power, men want success, and then men want sex.
We want all those things so we can have sex. You know what I mean? It's at the end of the day, that's the root to it all.
And that is a thing that gets them power and success in their eyes.
I don't know. I was a stripper for a number of years and had to quit because I wasn't okay with the manipulation part. I couldn't do it.
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.
What's the difference between a drug dealer exploiting an addict and women selling sex to a society of lonely men?
I don't think there's any difference, you know what I mean? Because the sex worker, to me, is a lowly profession, just like the drug dealer. Both bottom of the barrel positions.
I don't believe there is really a difference there at all. I think it's kind of the same thing. The sex is serving as a type of drug even.
Who should we blame more, the drug addict or the drug pusher?
The pusher.
So why are we blaming simps buying OnlyFans instead of the women pushing OnlyFans?
Because they will never blame women, because that would be shaming, right? That would be woman bashing. You have to let women do whatever they want, their body, their choice, and anybody that has any opinion about it is gay or just a hater or a conservative. On to the next.
Manifest my own destiny. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, the perfect recipe. May they remember me, my words will live on. I'm guided by an energy, a flame, hold it close to you. Check out my melodies. It's the media that's been leading you, I'll show you a thing. Misdirection, what's the message? They don't want you to win.